can't believe all the things people say. Controversy, am I black or white? Am I straight or gay? Yes, I am gay actually. Okay, seriously, welcome back to the Door Cream, Prince Classix. This is the third video. We talked about Dirty Mind, we talked about the Times' first album, now we're talking about Controversy. Ow! I mean, this album is a great album. Let me just say that from the outset. And unfortunately, though, it has the bad luck to be stuck between the album regarded as his first classic, Dirty Mind, and of course the album that was a massive breakthrough and probably really cemented him to the whole world, and that was 1999. You know, so basically this is like a gap album in a lot of ways. You know, it's kind of still got, you know, a lot of the sex and sort of, you know, squeaky organ raw sounds of Dirty Mind, but there is definitely some more polished, you know, sounding music that's reminiscent of 1999. But at the same time too, Controversy weaves its own sound. I mean, even Prince's look has evolved. He's gone as the punk funk look of the Dirty Mind era, and in has come the sort of, you know, sort of semi-neat, you know, sort of 8-year-old in fancy dress type. One critic described it as, for the Controversy you see the black makeup's still gone, the buzz cut's been sort of combed down into a sort of perm type thing, and as you can see, this would evolve into the transitional phase of some playing on the Controversy. He got rid of the suspenders and bikini briefs. He was wearing a white shirt, usually a black tie and black pants, you know, and this he kind of revived this whole, you know, puff shirt look for the Purple Rain Parade eras, and this is the look he evolved into come 1982. So we're in this transitional era, but let's talk about the music on Controversy, because that's the great thing. First of all, just some really quick facts about Controversy. Basically, again, it was pretty much a one-man show like he'd done with Dirty Mind in the time. Pretty much, several of the songs dated back a bit earlier. Let's Work started life as a song called Let's Rock, which was based around some dance kids were doing in 1980-81. And that evolved into Let's Work. Then in February 1979, apparently Andre Simone, who we talked about, was Prince's bass player and his best mate, recorded a song called Do Me Baby, and basically Prince recorded it. Prince took it for Controversy, said it was his. There's still a dispute now who wrote it. Listening to the song, it's hard to say. I've heard some of Andre's music, and to me, Do Me Baby sounds a lot like a classic Prince song, basically. I'll get more to that in a minute. The rest of the music on the album, the other 6 cuts, are all basically Soul Prince compositions. Okay, and the album, it seems that it was recorded mostly in the sometime in early to mid 1981, probably around the same time the time tracks were cut. It was mixed between the 13th and 21st of August at, again, Hollywood Sound Recorders by Bob Mockler, the same place which had basically done The Time and Dirty Mind. So again, we've got that whole sound, you know, it's basically more of the same, but it's so funky, you want more of the same, basically. And as you know, the album was released on the 14th of October 1981, but 2 events took place before that date which sort of cemented as being very important. First of all was, Jay's talked about this, Night Child of Fear, about on the 7th and 9th of October 1981, Prince and the band were asked to go open for the Rolling Stones at the Los Angeles Stadium, I think it was a Coliseum. There was about 200,000 people in the room. They were all sitting through rock acts like the Jay Giles Band and John Cooke, I think, and George Thorogood and the Destroyers, and Prince and his group were on first. Prince came on wearing his bikini briefs and French coat and started singing the song When You Were Mine, which went down quite well, but then he sang Bambi and Jack You Off and a few other songs, and they did not go down well with the redneck audience, and Prince and the group got booed off stage. They got fruit thrown at them and chicken wings and beer cans and all sorts of shit, and it was horrible. Something a bit more positive was in early October, they played Sam's. It's just after the Time played it, and they played under the name Controversy. Played a lot of the new songs, and it went down really well. It was either that gig or it was either the Rolling Stones gig, but they were the first gigs. Basically, Andre left the group, and in came Brown Mark on bass, pretty much. And Brown Mark had, this will really make you guys laugh, he had finished up at high school in the summer of '81, and had just was working at a place known as the International House of Pancakes. I mean, the name almost sounds too funny to be true, but here you are. Here's 18-year-old Brown Mark here. This is how you can tell these 2 pictures apart. Dirty Mind, you see Andre is still there. And here, you know, this is the Controversy era band. I mean, again, personnel-wise, nothing's really changed except for the addition of Brown Mark. I mean, you've still got Lisa, you've got Des Dickerson, you've got Matt Fink and Bobby Z, and of course Prince. No one's changed instruments yet. There won't be any more changes until halfway through the 1999 era when Des ups and leaves. But already at this stage, Des is starting to have, you know, different views. He's joined a religious group called The Way. I mean, no, not the way that was Gail Chapman, but he joined a religious group and he was starting to not feel happy about singing songs like Head and Do Me Baby on stage, basically. So that's the group. Alright, so 8 songs were recorded for Controversy, and of course, you know, you got the first song, which was Controversy, Sexuality, Do Me Baby, Private Joy, Ronnie Talk to Russia, Any Christian, Let's Work, and Jack You Off. Now, singles-wise, several singles were released off the album. The first single was released on the 2nd of September 1981. That was Controversy, backed with the Dirty Mind track, When You Were Mine. That was actually quite a moderate hit and was Prince's biggest hit since I Want to Be Your Lover back in '79. It got to number 70 on the pop chart, which isn't that successful, but it still hit the chart, basically. And it got to number 3 on the black chart. Again, he was proving he was a huge black draw. Black people were buying his music. They loved it. He was funky. You know, I mean, this is a guy giving them Dirty Mind and he'd given them the time, basically. Because by this stage, you know, with the Controversy tour, like I said in my time video, people got suspicious when the Time suddenly appeared on the Controversy tour supporting Prince, basically. And again, of course, Prince would kind of, you know, cameo in half the shows and run across the stage and tell, you know, Morris and Jesse what to do, which even made me laugh more. Okay, and also the other surprising thing about the single Controversy was it hit number 1 on the disco charts and spent quite a while. Yeah, they still had a disco chart up to the mid-80s in America. And the other weird thing too was he hadn't really broken anywhere around the world, but he did in Australia. In Australia, Controversy was released as a single and got to number 15 on their charts. Their first, you know, charting place, you know, outside of the homeland, but after the, you know, the I Want to Be Your Lover era. So it was the start of a global breakthrough. And the album itself was actually quite a big hit. It went gold automatically and got to number 21 on the Billboard 200 chart and number 3 on the black chart. And that was actually quite a reasonable hit, basically, because, I mean, Dirty Mind had stalled at number 45. The album nearly went platinum. Some people say it went platinum, but actually did not go platinum until January 1985. So basically, in that Purple Rain era, again, like with Dirty Mind, people had got into Prince through Purple Rain, and they wanted to, you know, basically get the back catalogue. And I think there was one stage around September 1984 where basically Dirty Mind, Controversy, Purple Rain, and 1999 were all in the album charts, along with Shillery's album, Apollonia 6, and at least 2 Time albums. I think all of them except the first Time album, basically. So Prince was annihilating the charts. And also remember too, Sheena Easton had Sugar Walls in the charts. Shaka Khan had I Feel For You in the charts. So it was the season of the Prince, basically. So that's basically the second single, Do Me Baby, was actually a flop. That was actually coupled with Private Joy. Didn't really get a wide release though. Controversy was released as a single outside of America not till 9th of October 81, so just before the album came out, and it didn't really hit any, like I said, except Australia. The third single, Let's Work, coupled with Ronnie Talk to Russia, was released in January 1982, and that, again, it actually got to the bubbling understage on the Hot 100, getting to 104, did relatively well on the black chart, getting to number 9, but again, it was the number 1 smash on the disco chart. And whereas Controversy spent 3 weeks at number 1 on the disco chart, Let's Work spent 6 weeks at number 1, and Prince rushed out a disco mix, 12-inch mix, which you hear on the Ultimate album. It's really funky. That's the part where Prince is singing about, I'll have you climb the walls. And it was just a great song, so it was actually a big success for him. And also at the same time too, Prince was doing the Controversy tour. And the final single was basically Sexuality coupled with Controversy. It was only released in a few territories, and again, it was a flop. Okay, so here's your success. So basically, we're looking at an album that definitely did much better than Dirty Mind. It even did better than The Time, but it's still not quite giving him that breakthrough. I mean, he's knocking on the door, you know, it's very much like, you just know, you're just thinking right now. I mean, Warner's were actually thinking of dropping him after Dirty Mind, but he pulled it off with The Time, and Prince said, look, give me another chance. This new album, Controversy, it's going to be a hit, and I know it, I feel it, you know. And they thought, okay then, but then Controversy was a hit. Not a big hit, but it was enough for Warner to say, okay, we're going to renew this guy's contract. We're going to give him another shot, basically. But this next album better make it. And don't worry, this next album would bloody make it, basically. And even before that album made it, there was a second Time album, which is going to be the next video, the Classix 4. 1999 will be Classix 5. I'm not going to do Vanity 6 as a Classix because I don't consider it a classic. It's got 2 or 3 good songs, and the rest is just, well, it's funny, but it's not great. Okay, so moving right along, so we've talked about how great Controversy is a worthy classic, and if you haven't heard Controversy, go and get it. It's an amazing album, you know. Now, sadly, on my other videos, I've been, you know, playing songs and things. I do not have a vinyl record of Controversy. I know it's wrong. All I've got is the CD, the digital copy. The CD dates right back to the 80s. I bought it in 1995 second hand. And the other thing too is that Controversy was actually the first Prince album to be released on CD in October 1983. The 1999 album wasn't released until January 84, and when it was, actually was missing the song DMSR because CDs in those days could only take 73 minutes. The album itself is 38 minutes, which is 8 minutes longer than Dirty Mind, but it's still only 8-track wonder. Okay, the cover is great. You know, you have these headlines here, see, 89 beheaded tourist invasion of Uptown. Uptown, of course, is you know, Minneapolis. So this is quite funny, you know, lingerie, new fashion trend. Already at this stage, Prince was thinking of, you know, putting basically Vanity 6 together. And if you open it up, you see it's just all made up dribble, basically. It's all funny letters and things. But it's hilarious, you know. And here it's got, you know, special thanks to God and you, basically. Again, Jamie Starr disappears. I mean, basically, Prince is doing everything. He's writing, he's composing, and he's producing, pretty much. Again, we've got everything's pop now. The music records company's changed from Prince's record company to Controversy Music, as you can see. So let's go through these songs because I'm already up to 11 minutes. Like I said, this is the upbeat video. I mean, I've already got a second video up today, which is the very morose video about the Classix terrorist attacks, which really were just horrible. That's why I'm shielding my face while I say that, basically. So, let's talk about Controversy. Controversy is the first song, okay? The version here on this album is the long version, which is 7 minutes. Controversy is very funky. It's got an amazing bass track going through it, basically. Prince's lyrics is basically about the controversy he's inviting, because, you know, people have seen him on the Dirty Mind era. They've seen him wearing, you know, the bikini briefs and leopard skin outfits and things. People ask him if he's straight or gay, whether he's black or white, you know. And then he's going, and then like all these other things, you know. And finally it gets into a big funk vamp, you know, you got this great chicken scratch bass guitar, and you go, and then he launches into a funny rap which goes, people call me rude, I wish we all were nude, I wish there was no black and white, I wish there were no rules. And then everyone else joins into it, and then he gets into the Lord's Prayer going, our Father, forgive us our trespasses as those who trespass against us. And then that finishes up with Prince doing a wah, controversy. The song is a masterpiece. It's 10 out of 10 easily. It's one of the greatest Prince songs ever made. I mean, just to give you an idea, Prince obviously loved the song Controversy because virtually 90% of all the Prince concerts afterwards, I mean, would open up with Prince singing Controversy. It was just such a versatile song. If you have the single edit of it, which appears on things like Forever and the Hits, no, not the Hits, sorry, the Hits has a long version, and the single, basically the part about people call me rude and the Lord's Prayer is chopped out, and it's just basically the main song. Then that moves into another song, which is an absolute blinder called Sexuality. I mean, despite what the title says, there's no sex in the song. Oh, there is a bit about, you know, we don't need to wear no clothes, you know, but that's Prince. I mean, it's Prince's manifesto song, basically. It carries on where Uptown leaves off. It includes such unforgettable lines as Uptown and Party Up. I mean, unforgettable lines as tourists, as well as overrun by tourists, 89 flowers on their back, inventors of the Aki Jack. What? No flash again? They're all a bunch of double drags that teach their kids that love is bad. Having a ball while your brain is on vacation. Mama, are you listening? Don't let your children watch television, because all I learn to do is curse, fight, and bleed. No children's born bad in the beginning. They only imitate the atmosphere. And he's so right. I just love it. You know, he talks about how there's a new breed that needs to stand up and organise. It's just a great song. I mean, the beat is amazing. He's singing in falsetto. And the other thing Prince is doing by this album too is he's singing half in falsetto and he's cutting down into his natural voice. He's like going, sexuality is all we'll ever need. Sexuality, let your body be free. Ow, ow, baby. Oh, come on, everybody. Yeah, this is your life. It's a great song. So in amongst the conservatism and preaching, he's also telling you to let your body be free. So, you know, be socially and morally conservative, but physically do what you want, basically. It's sex, let's get freaky, basically. So I love it. The shit about 89 flowers on their back, I just can't get enough of it. This is quirky Prince lyrics. It's an excellent song. It's another 10 out of 10. Seriously, the first 3 cuts on this album are probably easily the 3 strongest cuts you'll ever hear on a Prince album. I mean, even with Purple Rain, I mean, you know, Take Me With You is not quite on the level of Let's Go Crazy and the Beautiful Ones. Okay, maybe the first 3 songs on 1999 might be better because you got, you know, you got the 3 blinders in a row. 1999, Little Red Corvette and Delirious, but this is great, you know. We move on to the third track, which is probably the best track on the album. I'm going to say that a lot because I know Controversy and Sexuality are both very, very strong songs. Don't get me wrong, they're amazing songs. But Do Me Baby is a new league of amazing song, basically. Do Me Baby is Prince's first real seduction ballad, basically. This is a ballad, basically, I'll break it down to you in a simple thing. Prince is in a room with some girl, he's looking at her, he's longing to have her. He's singing about, you know, baby, stop holding back, let's just make love. Halfway through the song, you know, she ends up making love to him. And the oral ecstatic acrobatics are great. You know, then he does a big scream, and then halfway through he talks about, you know, whether she wants to just sit there and watch. And then finally at the end, he has sex, they scream, and then finally he goes, hold me baby, I'm so cold. Apparently Andre Simone wrote it, and again, Peach and Black to the funny scene of it going, I can imagine we get Andre Simone on the phone and he goes, yo man, do me baby, I wrote that shit. You know, yeah. And then they thanked Andre Simone for writing the perfect Prince seduction ballad. But anyway, Do Me Baby, some of the falsetto on this amazing go, bring out what's been in me for far too long. Baby, that's all I can dream of. And then there's a funny part where he goes, so what are you going to do? You're just going to sit there and watch? You know, he just talks in that sort of direct voice, and then he goes, oh, well, okay then. So what do you want to do? And he goes, and then you hear him going, it's that ooh, ooh, yeah, do me, baby, do me, baby, do me, baby, ooh, give it to me, ooh, ooh, come on and do me, baby, yeah. It's just hilarious. And sometimes it almost sounds derivative, you know, going, so is that what you do? You know, it's going to take a long time, you know, and then at the end he goes, ooh, baby, oh, yes, and you got this really sleazy porno piano playing away in the background. It's just crazy, you know, I mean, it's just pure sex. I mean, the second half of the song, all he's doing is basically having sex. It's just Prince doing what I do. Apparently there's a story going on that when he recorded the song, the studio was set up with pink candles. He closed down the doors. Prince was naked, you know. He was riding around on like a pink rug or something. He had the microphones dropped down low, so it was like lying on the floor with the microphone up there. He was screaming. And I mean, even one of the stories says that there was a female in the room with him, basically. But who knows? But it's just another Prince myth. It's amazing. So you imagine this guy here just fucking, you know, tearing his guts out singing this dirtiest song. But I love it. Now we've hit the 3 big songs. We're starting to go downhill from here. And then we've got Private Joy. Private Joy is another funky stomper song. It's like, you know, it's got some great chants and things. It's just not as strong as Do Me Baby, which again is 12 out of 10 song basically. But Private Joy, you don't know whether he's singing about masturbation, a girl, or a sex doll, or he could be singing about all 3 of them. But it's actually got some funny lines like, you know, I strangled Valentino, he's been mine ever since, been his ever since. If anybody asks you, you belong to Prince. Come on, baby, get up. You know, there's some funny, you know, stomp. The organs on the song are very like cheap sort of Casio Bomb Tempi type organs, very primitive early 80s synthesizers. It's not a bad song. It's quite funny, you know, I mean. And it's a good mixture of falsetto and his deeper voice. And it's a 7 out of 10. No, mate, I'm going to say 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good song. Then you've got Ronnie Talk to Russia. This song sounds incredibly dated now. Basically, it's about how Ronald Reagan was going to, you know, drop the bomb, you know, go, Ronnie, talk to Russia before it's too late, before it's too late. Ronnie, talk to Russia, because before we go to war, oh yeah, ow. You know, some of the organ stabs in this are like, the opening organ is like, what the hell? It sounds like a Casio Bomb Tempi. It's not bad. I mean, it's dated. I think Prince had this real paranoia about nuclear war and bombs and things. I mean, this carried on through 1999 and Let's Go Crazy. It's quite weak though, and it's a bit jarring. One reviewer said, like, you know, you're mixing in the preaching with the pornography. Because, you know, it's sandwiched between 2 songs about sex, because the next song, Let's Work, is about sex. Ronnie Talk to Russia, I can't give that more than a 5. It's just, Let's Work is a great funky dance song. I mean, okay, Let's Work is about dancing too, but there's another thing that people do when they mean the word work, and it doesn't mean go out and earn money in a job. But, you know, he's got, baby, oh, come on, baby, let's work. Yeah, let's work. I'll work you all night long, oh baby, I'll make you climb the walls, oh baby, don't let nothing can stop us now. I'm gonna show you how to work. Come on and have some fun. Gonna work till the party's done. Come on, baby, let's work. So it's a good song, you know. Yeah, I like it. It's very funky. I mean, the extended mix you hear on Ultimate's just wow, 9 out of 10. Okay, Any Christian. Now this is another song where the sex gives way to the preaching. This is a really interesting song with all these deep things that happen in 81 Prince is trying to discover. Any Christian, of course, means antichrist, you know. And he blames things like, you know, Reagan's gun control, man called, I've forgotten his name, but there was all these murders of black children in Atlanta in 1979 to 81. They caught the guy, I think his name was something Williams. He turned out to be black, but everyone was expecting to be some white redneck, like the fuckwit who shut up those mosques in Christchurch. And he talks about he killed black children, shut them down cold. And he talks about John Lennon, and the idiot who tried to shoot Reagan in May 81. And so it's a very deep song. I mean, it's actually not a bad song. I mean, again, sex sentence, he goes, any Christian, any Christ, until you're crucified, I'll live my life in taxi cabs. Now, taxi cabs apparently is Minneapolis slang for a woman's, you know, woo-woo. And Prince is here singing about basically I'm going to be having sex while all this shit's going on. So more Prince sex, okay. Then we move into the last song. The last song, Jack You Off, is interesting because Prince is using the Lindrum in it. And it's the first time Prince was using the Lindrum, okay. It's his first attempt at a rockabilly type song. It's not that great, it's not that bad either. Jack You Off, basically. It's a confusing song that has all us, you know, alternative community gasping at who is he actually singing about. I mean, you can't jack off a girl. Basically, we're singing about anywhere in a restaurant, sitting in the back, and I'll jack you off. I'll jack you off. Jack you off. Of course, jack you off is a slang for ejaculation. You know, so it's a funny, sexy song. It's a rockabilly stomp. You know, again, it's Prince doing all the vocals. Oh, baby, I'll jack you off. Yeah. All right. There's some good guitar playing. Any Christian, 6. Jack You Off, I'd say a 7. So there's your album, 38 minutes of fresh and roll. I mean, important album, and it is definitely a classic. I mean, the first 3 songs alone are just mind-blowing stuff, especially Do Me Baby and Controversy. You know, so that's Controversy. I mean, it's absolutely essential album. Just quickly, as you know, Prince did go out and promote it. He did the Controversy tour, which went from December 81 through to about April of 1982. By February of 82, Prince was actually starting to take the time off the stage for some of the bigger venues like LA and Detroit, where they were very popular. And Prince was starting to introduce new songs into the set. The set was mostly songs of Controversy and Dirty Mind, although I think there were stories that he was playing a couple of songs off Prince, like Bambi, Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad, and I Want to Be Your Lover at times. Most of the shows generally would open up with Controversy or Dirty Mind, pretty much, and they'd usually, then the encore song was usually Uptown. Sometimes it was something different, sometimes it was Uptown, sometimes it would be Jack You Off or Let's Work. The shows were quite short. He was only doing about 10 or 11 songs, which was still more than the 8 or 9 songs he was doing on Dirty Mind. Because already, I mean, Time came on and played about 6 songs. They pretty much played everything off their first album. And then before that, on some shows, Zap were playing as well. And they were playing songs like More Bounce to the Ounce and Roger's I Want to Be Your Man, basically. And so it was a long show. It was mostly to black audiences. Whereas the Dirty Mind was clubs of a few hundred to 1,000. These were bigger venues. These were like 3,000 or 4,000, you know, main sort of like, you know, stadiums and things. Not massive stadiums, but like, you know, big supper clubs and sort of bigger sort of high school sports stadiums. It was relatively popular, even though it was the middle of winter. And yeah, and I mean, several shows were taped. There's a famous one from Houston, and there's of course one of the famous one was the Met Center show on the 7th of March 1982, which apparently only sold 5,000 tickets out of 13,000. Of course, a year later, when he was finishing off the Triple Threat tour there, I mean, it would sell out basically. So he was getting better, he was coming through, but he hadn't quite broken. It was kind of like on my channel. I mean, I'm starting to get attention, I'm starting to get love, you know, but I'm not quite at the level where I'm getting, you know, sort of Prince's Friends numbers just yet. So that's my Controversy video. I hope you all liked it. I hope you like Controversy. You need to listen to it. It's a great album. And next we're going to discuss What Time Is It? Yeah. We've got time to get wild and loose.